I will discuss the topic tooth decay. So, what do you mean by tooth decay? We will study the tooth decay and explain. So, I'm revising the previous lecture, and in the previous lecture, what we have studied, the outer hardest covering of the tooth is called enamel. So the outer covering shown in the figure, the white color substance, so it is called enamel. So the white color substance is called enamel. And then is dentine. And then is pulp. So the tooth has three layers. First is enamel, and second is dentine, and next is pulp. So first is enamel, then is dentine, and then is pulp. And there are three layers of the tooth. First is enamel and dentine, and then is pulp. So outer layer is called, the outer white layer is called enamel. The outer white layer is called enamel. And then is dentine, and this is a substance shown in the figure. This is a dentine, and then is pulp. So third is pulp, and first is enamel, and after that dentine, it is not hard as compared to the enamel. Enamel is the hardest substance. It is hardest as comparable to the bone, and dentine, it is less hard as compared to the enamel. And next is pulp. So in the pulp, what are the material present in the pulp? So the blood vessels and the nerves are present in the pulp. So the blood vessels and the nerves are present in the pulp. So you have to remember which is the hardest substance, enamel. So in this lecture, we will study about the tooth decay. So the tooth decay occurs more commonly in children than the adults. So as we know, the decay of tooth is generally seen in the children as compared to the adults. So in the children, so many diseases are occurring in the tooth, and tooth decay is seen in the children. And why tooth decay occurs? And what is the reason of tooth decay? The main cause of tooth decay is bacterial infection. So what is the main cause of tooth decay? It is bacterial infection. Whenever we eat food, the small food particles get stuck between the teeth, and if teeth are not brushed regularly and properly, the food particles stuck on them and leads to the growth of bacteria. So what do you mean by bacterial infection? So the main reason of tooth decay is bacterial infection. So the infection due to bacteria, so it is called bacterial infection. And how bacterial infection occurs in the tooth decay? So we will study this. And whenever we eat food, the small food particles get stuck between the teeth. So when we eat the food in the morning or in the evening, so whenever we eat the food, the small particles get stuck between the teeth. And if teeth are not brushed regularly and properly, the food particles stuck on them and leads to the growth of bacteria. So the main cause of the tooth decay is bacterial infection. So whenever we eat food, the small particles get stuck between the teeth, and if teeth are not brushed regularly, so these food particles leads to the growth of bacteria, and then in this way bacterial infection occurs. जो हमारी जो टूथ टीके है वो कहाँ चिल्ड्रन में सबसे ज्यादा देखे जाते हैं, और ये बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन की वजह से होते हैं। और जब भी हम खाना खाते हैं तो छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, वो टीथ के ऊपर चिपक जाते हैं। टीथ के ऊपर चिपक जाते हैं, अगर टीथ को हम अच्छे से ब्रश नहीं करते जो फूड पार्टिकल जो उसके ऊपर जो चिपक जाते हैं उसकी वजह से बैक्टीरिया की ग्रोथ होती है, and these bacteria produce acid. So because of these bacteria, they produce acid and they damage the enamel. So they damage the enamel and the protective layer of our teeth. So what do you mean by the protective layer of our teeth? The enamel, the white layer of the teeth is called enamel, and these type of bacteria, they produce acid, and because of this acid the damage may occur. So they also form a sticky coating and it is called plague and damage the dentine and finally the pulp. So firstly, we have seen that these bacteria, they produce acid and they damage the enamel. So when these bacteria, they produce acid, and due to these acid, they damage the enamel. And do you mean by enamel? The protective layer of our teeth. So the protective layer of our teeth shown in the previous figure. So enamel is outer layer shown in the figure. So this is the enamel. This gets destroyed due to the acid, and this is the acid is due to the growth of bacteria. So they also form a sticky coating called plaque that damage the dentine. So when the all teeth are destroyed, so they form a sticky coating called plaque and they damage the dentine. So this is the decay of teeth. So they form a yellow layer on the teeth. So because of the yellow layer of the teeth, so they also damage the plaque and they also finally the pulp and causing the holes, and these holes are called cavities. Plague also cause germ diseases that can make our germs red, swollen, and sore, and tooth decay in children occurs due to the excessive eating of candies and chocolates. So, why the bacterial infection occurs? The tooth decay occurs mostly in the children as compared to the adult. And what is the main cause of tooth decay? The main cause of tooth decay is bacterial infection. And why bacterial infection occur? When we eat food, the small particles are stuck between the tooth, and then these food particles leads to the growth of bacteria. And due to these bacteria, the acids are produced. And these acids damage the enamel as well as they also damage the plaque. So they also form a sticky cone plaque and that damage the dentine and finally the pulp. Firstly, they damage the outer covering enamel, and then they damage the dentine, and then also they also damage the pulp, and that causing holes called cavities. So what do you mean by cavities? The small holes in the teeth, the small holes in the teeth is called cavities. So they're shown the cavities. So the small holes in the teeth, so this is called cavities. So plague also cause gum disease that can make our gums red, swollen, and sore. So as we know, due to bacterial infection, the outer covering of the teeth is destroyed, and it also destroyed the plaque, and and it forms a sticky coating layer, and this yellow layer is called plaque, and these cause diseases and our germs become red and swollen and sore. Tooth decay in children occur due to excessive eating of candies and chocolates. So due to the tooth decay in the children, if we eat the excess candies and chocolates, the tooth decay in children may occur. So the tooth decay in children may occur if we eat the excess candies and chocolates. If you do not take care of teeth and germs, infection will occur in the whole mouth, resulting in the falling of free teeth and pain. So because of the bacterial infection, the outer covering is also destroyed, and also they destroy the dentine, and also they destroy the pulp. And the small holes in the teeth is called cavities. And these two decay occurs if we eat the excess quantity of candies and chocolate. If we eat the excess quantity of candies and chocolates, then the gums becomes red, swollen, and sore. And if you do not take care of your teeth and germs, then the infection will occur in the whole mouth. So if we do not take care of our teeth, so the infection can occur in the whole mouth, as shown in the figure. The hole in the whole mouth, the infection occurs. So in this way, the tooth decay occurs. So whole mouth resulting in the falling of the teeth, and thus eating meals will become very difficult. So when the whole mouth is destroyed by the bacteria, then eating meals they also become very difficult. So this is a tooth decay. And what do you mean by bacterial infection? The infection in the tooth is infection in the tooth due to bacteria is called bacterial infection. And what is the main cause of tooth decay? Bacterial infection. जब हम खाना खाते हैं तो छोटे छोटे particles हमारे दांत में रह जाते हैं. अगर हम उसको ब्रश नहीं करते तो वहां पे बैक्टीरिया जो है ग्रो होने लग जाते हैं, और वो बैक्टीरिया क्या प्रोड्यूस करते हैं? एसिड. और एसिड से जो हमारी येलो लेयर हमारे दांतों में जो दिखाई देती है वो बन जाती है. इसको हम प्लेकू बोलते हैं, जिसकी वजह से सारा डेंटाइन भी खत्म हो जाता है और पल्प भी खत्म हो जाता है और होल्स हो जाते हैं दांतों में. एंड इन होल्स को क्या बोलते हैं? दैट होल्स इज कॉल्ड कैविटीज. And tooth decay in children, to why tooth decay occurs? If we eat excess quantity of candies and chocolates. If we eat the excess quantity of candles and chocolate, then the tooth decay occurs. And if we don't care about of teeth, then infection occurs in the whole mouth, as shown in the figure. Infection occurs in the whole mouth, and due to this infection, the whole teeth will destroy it, and we cannot eat with these teeth. So this is a tooth decay, and this is a tooth decay, and this is due to the bacterial infection. And how bacteria is developed? Bacteria is developed due to the acid when we eat the food, and some food is stuck over these teeth. And if we do not brush the teeth, then these food particles creates microbes or bacteria, and due to these bacteria they form a acid, and they form a yellow layering on the teeth, as shown in the figure. So this is called pulp. So this is called pulp. So you have to remember why these tooth decay occur in the children. If we eat excess quantity of candies and chocolate, if we eat the excess quantity of candies and chocolates, then the tooth decay occurs. If we eat the excess quantity of candies and chocolate, then the tooth decay occurs. And if you don't take care of teeth and germs, the infection occurs in the whole mouth. And due to this infection, they result into the falling of trees, and the eating meals become very difficult. So you have to remember, what do you mean by bacterial infection, and why this bacterial infection occurs, and what do you mean by plague, and how it damages the enamel, and how it damages the dentine. And what do you mean by cavities? The small holes in the pulp is called cavities. And what do you mean by the microbial infection, and what do you mean by the bacterial infection? So you have to remember these terms in the tooth decay. So I'm showing the tooth decay and kinds of teeth with the help of slides. So I'm showing these. So next Look at your teeth in the mirror. Do all of them appear similar? No. Our teeth in the mirror, they are not similar. Some are broader and some are less broader. So let me learn about the tooth. First is, this is the structure of the tooth, and then the white part, the upper part of the teeth is called crown. And as shown in the figure, the upper part of the teeth is called crown. And then this is a reddish part shown. This is the gum. And then this is a lower part of the teeth. Then this is called root. The upper part of the teeth is called crown, and the lower part of the teeth is called root. So the upper part of the teeth is called crown, and the lower part of the teeth is called root. And the reddish part shown is the gum. जो मसूड़े से ऊपर वाला पार्ट होता है that is called crown, और जो मसूड़े के नीचे वाला पार्ट होता है वो हमारा क्या होता है? Root. And next is, this is a structure of teeth. So there are so many teeth are shown, and they are given the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what are their number? 1 is incisor, and then is canis, and then is premolar, and then is molar. So on the number 1, there are 2 incisor are shown. So, and then is 1 canis is shown, and three premolar is shown, and then 4 molar is shown in the figure. So they are giving the mark 1, 2, and 3. So first is incisor. So with the help of incisor, we can tear the flesh. And next is, this is the figure shown in the incisor. The first four teeth is called incisor. And next is, they are helping to tear the flesh. And next is, then is premolar. So then is they are shown the premolar, the location of premolar is shown. So which we have discussed in the last lecture. They are premolars, and they are 4 in each side. Means they are 18 numbers. Means they are 18 numbers. So they are number 3, they are premolars. So premolars are shown in the figure. And next is molars. So what are molars? So what are the molars shown in the figure? 1, 2, in the figure 1, 2, and 3, they are showing the premolar and molar. On the number 1, incisor are present, and on the number 2, then canis is present, and they are in number 1. Then is on the 3, then is premolar exist, and then on the 4, then molar exist. So this is the structure of teeth. 1 is incisor, 2 is canis, 3 is premolar, and then 4 is molar. So you have to remember which are molars and which are premolars and which are incisor and which are the canis, and which is sharp canis. Canis is a sharp teeth. So on the number 2, it is a sharp teeth. So you have to remember which is sharp 2. And as we know, on the 4, molars are shown. On the number 4, molars are shown. And molars are broader as compared to the premolars. And premolars are on 3. जो हमारे number 4 पे जो हमारे premolar जो हमारे दिखाए हुए हैं वो हमारे broader हैं as compared to the number 3 पे. और जो हमारा सबसे strong teeth है वो number 2 पे है. And this is a stable teeth. So you have to remember which are incisor and which are canis and which are premolar and molar. So next is care of the teeth. So you have to remember how can we care of the teeth. So do you all brush your teeth every day? So this woman is asking to the students, do you all brush your teeth every day? So what our students are saying? Yes, ma'am. So he's saying, yes, ma'am, we are doing brush daily. So we are doing brush daily. And next is why we brush. To keep them clean, we brush regularly. So why we are doing brush? We are doing brush to keep them clean. To keep them the teeth clean, we are doing the brush. We are doing the brush. And next is why do teeth decay? So you have to remember why these two decay occurs. So this is the picture shown figure. She is asking to the students why tooth decay occurs. Why tooth decay occurs if you brush regularly? So she is explaining when we eat food, tiny particles get stuck to the teeth. जब भी हम खाना खाते हैं जो छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स हैं वो हमारे दांत पे चिपक जाते हैं. They get stuck on the teeth. So when we eat the food, the tiny particles of the food, they get stuck to the teeth and also in the space. So they also in the space. And next is, and the germs breed there and form. So when we eat food, the small particles they get stuck into the space, and the germs breed there and form. And then the germs breed there and form. So you have to remember when the small germs, when the also in the space, when we eat food, the small particles they get stuck to the food, they get stuck to the food and also in the space, and the germs breed there and it form. So the picture shown in the figure, when the germs breed there and it forms. जो इसके ऊपर जो जर्म्स है इसके अंदर एंटर करेंगे और वो क्या बनाएंगे, उसके ऊपर येलो कवरिंग बनाएंगे. सो दे आर शोन इन द फिगर ड्यू टू बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन द येलो कवरिंग अकर्स. Due to bacterial infection, the yellow covering occurs. And due to yellow covering, we also have bad breath. इस yellow covering की वजह से दांतों में क्या आएगी, गंदी स्मेल आएगी. And the germs breed there and it forms a yellow covering. As we discussed, if we don't brush, अगर हम उसको brush नहीं करेंगे, so we get the bad smell. So if we don't brush, then we get the bad smell. And the plague around the roots of the teeth occurs. So the yellow portion shown, this is the plague, and it looks around the teeth. And what are the steps when we how can we take care of our teeth? First is rinse your mouth every time after eating something. So when we eat something, so you have to rinse your mouth. हमें जो है हमें जो अपना माउथ है बार बार धोना चाहिए जब भी हम कुछ खाते हैं उसके बाद, और ब्रश करना चाहिए कम से कम एक दिन में एक बार सुबह मॉर्निंग में, एक बार बेड में जाने से पहले. And use floss to clean between the teeth, and use tongue cleaner to clean the tongue, and you have to brush the using up and down motion. So you have to rinse your mouth every time if you eat something. And if you want to brush your teeth in the morning and before going to the bed, so you have to remember these terms, and you have to rinse your mouth every time if you eat something. And then is you have to brush your teeth at least twice a day, and you have to use the tongue cleaners, and you have to brush using up and down motion. So you have to learn these steps. How can we take care of our teeth? So again I'm showing the slides. So this is the slide. And how can we take care of our teeth? So this is the topic, care of teeth. So she is asking, do all brush your teeth regularly? Do you all brush teeth regularly? And then student is explaining, yes ma'am, we are brushing regularly. So she is asking why we brush our teeth. Then the students are saying that we are brushing to keep them clean. We are brushing to keep them clean. To keep them our teeth clean, we are brushing. And yes, why tooth decay? Yes, and why tooth decay occurs? And when we eat food particles, when we eat food tiny particles, then the small particles they get stuck on the teeth. When we eat food tiny particles, then these food particles then they get stuck on the food, on our teeth, and they also stuck also in the space. And the germs breed and they also form. And the germs breed there and they also form. So due to these, we also have bad smell. So due to these, we have bad smell and the germs breed there and they form a yellow covering. And this yellow covering is called plago. So if we don't brush regularly, अगर हम brush नहीं करते तो ये yellow covering बन जाती है. And this yellow covering is due to the bacteria. So you have to remember the terms why these bacteria infection occurs. So if you have any query regarding this topic, you can ask. If you have any query regarding this topic,